Benny. We really are living in the greatest timeline with the single greatest administration. Donald Trump dropping bombs, F-bombs, on Israel and Iran from the White House lawn. And J.D. Vance following up with a gesture of his own the same day, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. President Trump, Israel and Iran, they don't know what the F they're doing.
We have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
Do you understand that? I think J.D. Vance understands that because seconds ago, J.D. Vance decided that he was going to throw up his own F-bomb by flipping the bird to an audience of thousands as they roar. What's the context here? Well, J.D. Vance just having a great time. I wonder if other VPs had as much excitement as I do. Get a load of this. J.D. Vance throws up middle finger on live TV. In D.C., they have this thing. I think they put it up to me when I'm driving by, the pink-haired people. They throw this finger up. That means we're number one, right? Here we go, J.D. with the jokes.
Going out there and you're making phone calls, when you're contributing hard-earned money to political candidates, when you yourself are running, because I know it's not always easy to be a political candidate. Trust me. In Washington, D.C., they have this thing where I think it means we're number one in Washington, D.C., but all the pink-haired people throw up this sign, and I think, you know, that means we're number one, right? I choose to take that as that symbol in Washington. But all kidding aside, you know, sometimes this job of politics is inspiring, and sometimes it's hard work. And you take the good work, the inspiring work with the hard work, but I want you to remember that what we're trying to do is create the kind of country where that woman's grandchildren can grow up and go to a safe school where they get a good education. We're trying to create the kind of economy where those grandkids, if they work hard and play by the rules, can provide for their family with a dignified, high-paying job. We're trying to create the kind of country where that woman knows that her leadership cares more about her and her family than they do about Mexican drug cartels. We are trying to create the kind of country where the American dream is alive and well. We're off to a good start.
So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. J.D. Vance following in the steps of his boss, Donald Trump, saying, I do know what the F I'm doing. Throws up the middle finger. Joke about liberals flipping him off in Washington, D.C. That's the context. But this is the actual joke that went viral with close to 10 million views on our X alone, 20,000 reposts, and 176,000 likes. Get a load of this. Stop what you're doing. I'm howling. J.D. Vance talks about the nuclear button on President Trump's desk during world leader negotiations.
And it's a tough phone call. There's some tough issues that we have to work through with this foreign leader, and he asked me to come sit behind him at the Resolute desk so that if I need to say anything, I can just speak directly into the speakerphone. And it's early in the administration, so there's not a whole lot in the Oval Office yet, and there's this sort of wooden box with a red button sitting on the Resolute desk. And I think to myself, that's probably not a button that you want to press, right? So we're talking to this foreign leader, and the president looks over at me, puts the foreign leader on mute, and says, "This is not going very well," and he presses the red button. and my eyes get really big, and I'm like, "Mr. President, you know, what just happened?" And he looks at me and he goes, "Nuclear." Nuclear. And 2 minutes later, a guy walks in with a Diet Coke, and he looks back at me and he says, "It wasn't nuclear, it's just the Diet Coke button." And that's... So that's the kind of guy, and my fellow Republicans, that we have as the President of the United States, a guy who can do a good job, but keep a sense of humor.
I just love the energy of this administration, rocking and rolling with the punches. You'd think they'd be all serious after this last week, but it's just banger after banger after banger. Even Donald Trump at NATO, J.D. Vance is in Ohio, Donald Trump's at NATO, gets called daddy because of meetings like this. It's amazing. This is the Secretary General of NATO.
We may do papers on it, Marco. Maybe we're going to do papers. I don't even know if you need them. They're not going to be fighting each other. They've had it. They've had a big fight, like two kids in a schoolyard. You know, they fight like hell. You can't stop them. Let them fight for about 2-3 minutes. Then it's easier to stop them.
And then Daddy has to sometimes use strong language.
You have to use strong language. Every once in a while, you have to use a certain word.
Use strong language, use the F-bomb. That's right. And then Trump is asked about this, actually, at the press conference. And Trump sends his administration howling with his response for Trump Daddy.
Mark Rutte, the NATO chief, who is your friend, he called you Daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No? He did it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
Do you regard your NATO allies, though, as kind of like children, and they're obviously listening to you and they're spending more, and you're obviously appreciative of that, but do you hope that actually they're going to be able to defend themselves, defend Europe on their own?
I think they need help a little bit at the beginning, and I think they'll be able to, and I think they're going to remember this day. And this was a big day for NATO. You know, this was a very big day. They took it. One of the gentlemen said, you know what? We've been trying to raise money raise the rate for 30 years, he said, 20 years, from almost the beginning. And he's been there for a long time. He said, until you came along, it never happened. What you did is amazing. It's been sort of an amazing day for a lot of reasons, but also for that. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think they can do it without you, though, in the future? Can they do it without
Well, ask Mark.
States?
I mean, you have to ask Mark.
So we just love the energy of the administration. Seems to be all locking in. J.D. Vance locked in here with his closing argument. This is like the J.D. Vance of 2028, let me tell you what. You hear the American media say all the time that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. Let me tell you what the actual threat to democracy is. Whew, it's just cooking here from JD. This is the winning energy for 2028. Go.
And the final and most important thing, and I think this is the most important issue confronting this country, and it was certainly the most important issue that was destroying this country over the past 4 years, and that is the issue of illegal immigration. Now, if I had stood here in October of 2024, and you had told me that after 45 days of the Trump administration, we would have illegal border crossings down between 95 to 99%, I would have said, whoa, whoa, whoa. I believe the president is very serious about this, and I believe the president is very effective. But there is no way that we're going to have illegal border crossings down that much, and I'm happy to report that 1.5 months into the Trump administration, we had illegal border crossings down 99%. It was a radical success, and it happened very quickly. And I believe, ladies and gentlemen, that that saved the United States of America, because we know exactly what the Democrats, not because we had to read their minds, but because Democrats would go out and say that what they wanted to do with those 25 million illegal aliens is give every single one of them the right to vote and turn them into permanent wards of the Democratic Party. And if we allowed that to happen, if we allowed the Democratic Party to import voters instead of persuade voters, that would have been the end of American democracy. You hear the American media say all the time that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. The threat to the democracy is Democrats importing voters instead of persuading their fellow citizens.